Well, wow. Good morning. I don't know about you guys, but I am fired up. So, look, we spend too much time in front of Zoom. We spend too much time sitting down. I'm full of energy. So, everybody, I think we just need to get up. If I were in front of you right now, we would all be up. So just get up off your sofa. I can see you. I know you think I can't see you, but I can see you. I can't see your names, or I would be calling I'd call you out. So just get up and let's get that energy going, because so far we've been talking about the mindset, and the mind is brilliant and it's powerful, but unless we then use this and we start to take different action using our body, then we won't actually take any action, because the action comes from here. So last week I was talking about the power pose. So stand nice and tall, put your hands on your hips, your shoulders back, just give your head a little roll, give your hips a little roll. We're going to be doing some sexy stuff later. I've got some really fun principles to talk through. So keep up that energy. Unfortunately, I have to now sit down to get access to my computer, but just try and keep that energy flowing in you. And if you can, you watch my whole presentation standing up, but just keep that energy going, because that is what's going to ultimately make the difference. So let's take a look. I'm going to share my screen with you now and come bring these principles back up. I say that really confidently because I can never see it. Here it is in bright green. There we go. Okay, so for those who have joined us for the first time this week, I hope you've been watching them on catch up and you've been able to follow. But I'm Janet Jones. I'm known as the Happiness Millionaire. I'm a Napoleon Hill certified instructor, and I'm an author and a photographer, and I've done all kinds of things. I've been in the personal development world now for a long time, maybe 20 years if I go right back to the beginning of my story. But what we are doing this week is, well, not this week, but during this series, we've been doing 3 hours worth of training to help to build more confidence, give you a deeper understanding of your true potential, and of providing you with a time-tested, fail-proof visual system to creating your rich life. And you'll find out what rich means in a moment. But I guarantee all of these principles will help to increase your level of success with Cash FX and bring greater joy and happiness into your life. And that's a big promise. But I have worked with these principles, like I say, for the last 20 years. And throughout my life, they have showed up at crucial moments and they have made massive changes. So it's my joy to share these with you. If we look back at the progress that we have made, so week 1, we discussed the introduction to thinking, how to think, the power of thinking. And then I introduced you to Napoleon Hill's principles 1 to 3, which was your desire, faith, and auto-suggestion. And then we looked into gaining knowledge and things. And this week, we're now approaching some really powerful principles for you to get your head around. So then we've got 2 more weeks after this where we are going to learn really how to fly. If you want to find out more about what I do, then just go to my website, which is happinessmillionaire.com. And for those of you, if you want a copy of my book to follow this program, then I've created my ebook just as a special offer there for £2. So again, I believe that, you know, if you're going to put your toe in the water, you've got to make some level of commitment. You know, there's a lot of free stuff out there, and I could have given my ebook for free, but I know that the power comes from when you just make a small commitment, because a small commitment actually gets you into a bigger commitment, which is just what we're doing here with Cash FX, where we introduce people in that smaller level, because then you can really show people what this is about. Let's do a very quick recap now. Again, repetition is absolute key. And I hope that by now this is starting to sink in and you've seen some changes that are coming in your life. I do hear from 1 or 2 of you, which is brilliant. So thank you for getting in touch. Okay, we talk about going from a poor mindset to a rich mindset. And a poor mindset is having a poverty mindset, so that is full of fear and doubt and worry, which is actually probably that 90% that Jim Rohn was just talking about. I think it's higher, to be honest. And it's about feeling overwhelmed. And when we get overwhelmed, our life gets off balance. And when our life is off balance, if we maintain that level of thinking, it is a matter of time before we have regrets in our life. So recognizing that the mind can get into that state, we then want to be conscious and learn steps and principles to get the mind into a rich state. And anybody can do this. You just have to decide that that's what you want to do. And a rich state is having great relationships, having the income that is right for you, feeling confident, and then developing your health and happiness. All of this starts with the thought, and it's the thoughts have an energy all of their own, and they can do all kinds of crazy things, as we will discuss throughout this program. But just imagine that in your brain, and thoughts, I don't believe that they just come in your brain, because you can have like intuitive thoughts. So, but just imagine that they all have this electrical power to them, and that is coming out from you and from everybody around you. So now let's take a look about what a thought actually does and how it manifests itself. I remember somebody saying to me, if you can't change something, change the way you think about it. And that is fantastic advice. But most of the time, we don't know how we think. We don't understand the thinking concept. So I've put this together. When we have a thought, we automatically have an image. That image, all images are emotional. And so the image then creates an emotion. It is, in fact, our emotion, just as we were listening to that recording from Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins, it is our emotion that drives us to take action every time. And it's our actions that create our life experience. But what happens when we have our life experience? All that is doing is then feeding right back into our thoughts. So we need to change that cycle if we're not happy with the life experience, or we want something bigger and better. We believe we have greater potential. And when we feel we can do this, if you use this system, I promise you, you can change and you can reach your full potential, whatever that looks like. So during these training sessions, we've been looking at the influence of the images of the principles I've created and how they can influence your brain. And the idea is that when we learn the messages in the image and we keep looking at them over and over again, because what that is doing is feeding the visual part of your brain, known as the visual cortex. It's 500 million cells at the back of your brain. Everyone has one. Most people, I think, have this. And we feed that part of the brain these images. And I promise you, this is a fantastic system to have sitting in your brain. In the first section, we spoke about the thought. So imagine these principles as being the recipe for your full potential. And you are building this amazing cake. So mine is this diagram of the 3 layers and the lovely icing with the cherry on top. So the very first principles are your thought principles. I'm going to recap those. The first one is the desire. It is the starting point of everything. Just always remember that and keep repeating that over and over. And this is the image of the rock climber and making the way forward. Then there's the image of faith and having faith and belief in yourself and developing your absolute confidence. Then we looked at auto-suggestion, which comes as in visual suggestion, your body suggestion, which is why I had you standing up earlier with your hands on your hips, because all those things are actually feeding your mind. And then I spoke about having one of these wristbands. And if you've got hold of one of the pocketbooks, or when you send in your plans to Brian and you get a pocketbook, you will also get one of these wristbands, and you just wear that on your wrist. And when your language is falling into the poor mindset, you give that a ping and it wakes your brain up so that you can consciously change that into rich inner language. This is all powerful stuff. And I know I'm rushing through it because it's really big. So last week, we then started to cover the physical level of the cake and the principles in the physical bit, because now we've got to start that process of getting off our chair and stopping writing things down so that we can now start to take the actions. So we looked into specialized knowledge. So I hope you've all been really honing in and learning more about Cash FX and what this means to you and how you can help others with that. Because then we can start to use the imagination. It's only when you gather the knowledge of your life and what you want in it that you can use your imagination. And when you've used your imagination, then it's time to write your plan. You don't have your desire and then write your plan because you've missed so much out. And so it's about cultivating that imagination and then writing down your plan. Within your plan, you've got your goals and then the focus. And we did touch on this last week. And I know Brian will talk more about goals when we wrap this session up, because we're going to be looking at goals so that you can send in your goals to Brian in order to get one of these packs. And bearing in mind that goals, you never work alone. So make sure you've got a good team around you and then to stay focused on them. So hopefully by now, as we've been working through this is where your mind is starting to get. You're becoming more goal oriented. You're becoming more focused. I hope that's how these are helping. So today is the action level of the cake. So these are your action ingredients, and they are truly magic. You'll have heard of most of them before, and this is the thing that's going to start to really make a difference. So let's just I'm going to cover all of them, and then we'll dive into each of them individually. We have the decision image. So the decision image, when you have used all the other principles, decisions become easier. So then we're going to look at persistence. That's a tough one, as we've just seen in the video there. And Jim Rohn was talking about how, if you don't persist with something, it's so easy to slip backwards. And then having a mastermind, the power of the mastermind, and then sex transmutation, which most people do not talk about, but it is the most powerful thing of all. So let's dive in now and take some action. Okay, I hope you've all got your pen and paper, because I want you to start to really own these images and what they mean to you. So this is the image of decision. When you've used all the other principles and you're clear on your desire and you've started to cultivate your belief in yourself, and you have your inner language and your body language are all in alignment with your decision, and you've got your specialized knowledge and you've made some decisions, you've got your specialized knowledge and used your imagination. You've drafted out your plan. Well, right now, making a decision is easy because you can see it all being mapped out. Whereas again, if you have your desire and you go straight to making a decision, it's very easy to make a bad decision, a regretful decision, a poor mindset decision. I remember in one of my training sessions, and I had a woman in there, and she had this desire she wanted a sort of a very wealthy looking life, really. And she always wanted a BMW. And this was really passionate for her. And she just happened to see one in this showroom and thought, I'll just take a test drive. And then she went and bought it just like that. And she really regretted it, because then she realized, actually, now she doesn't have a plan to fund it. So it's really important to work through these principles before making committed decisions like that. And so I also have an online training program. And in my online training program, you will see images like this. So where I've got the image in the center with like arrows coming off. And you can scribble all this down now, but the idea being is, what thoughts do these images trigger within you? When you see this image, what is it doing to that visual part of your brain? Are you able to see the things that you want to make a decision on? Can you see them in your mind? How emotional are you? How passionate are you about the thing that you see in your mind? Because connect all of those, and that is where your action will come from. That is where your positive decision will come from. So use these images to write around them and own them. I love this. Good decision, bad decision, who knows? But whatever it is, you simply have to make decisions, because when you don't make decisions, you end up staying put. And that is actually a decision in itself. So try and get this little statement in your mind. Good decision, bad decision, who knows? You know, it serves me really well, that one. I love that. And as Jim Rohn says, it doesn't matter which side of the fence you get off on sometimes. What matters most is getting off. You cannot make progress without making decisions. Once you've made a decision, it's really crucial then to persist with that decision. You know, don't get back on the fence, just persist with the decision. Again, if you've been following the principles and you come to make your decision, you'll be quite confident now about the decision. So you persist with that. And I love this image because, well, there's a persistent story around it, which is actually all written in my book. But this was a guy running a marathon locally, and he just happened to run into my frame on my camera. And it was absolutely perfect because he's got a bandaged knee. He's got rubbish, muddy trainers on, and you can see the gravelly path that he is heading along. Well, none of it looks very appealing, but there's something in him that has this driving force that is making him persist with his goal. And so I absolutely love that, because it says, even if you're not fully prepared, get on the road. You've made your decision, keep going. So this very powerful picture. And once again, if you get the images and you scribble around your thoughts about these images, I hope you're doing that now, because I am going to open up a little Q&A. Keep an eye on the time. And now we have Mastermind. So far in your action steps, you have, you've made your decision. You are persisting with your decision. But trust me, it's a lonely road if you're persisting on your own. So having a mastermind is really crucial. You want like-minded people. You want people who have a similar vision to you, because when you, well, we cover this next week, but when you're with the wrong people, it can be a game changer in the wrong direction. But you get with the right people and you can be powered up. Like, it's unbelievable. So start to think about who your mastermind would be. I call these people my A team. So look at who your A team is. And there's really only one or two people. A mastermind shouldn't be really more than about 5 people. Napoleon Hill's, well, it was Andrew Carnegie, where the mastermind sort of, well, Napoleon Hill's take on the mastermind came from. And Andrew Carnegie just had a group of five top businessmen, and they all grew massive businesses. So I think Woolworth was in there. I forget his first name. J.C. Penney. So really big minds that were a part of that particular mastermind. They did great things and they did not so great things. You might want to look into them as individuals, but. So once again, take the image and start to think about, what does that image say to you? You know, we've got in this image, I've got Churchill and Roosevelt sat on a bench. Now, this is taken in London and Old Bond Street. But these two guys, you know, came together and they created the United Nations. Their minds were really locked. I love how they are looking at one another and completely engaged. Their body language is open and trusting. A mastermind is about openness, and it's about trust and knowing that you are safe in that environment. Now, if you also look at the back of this image, you can see a couple, and they're looking in the shops in Bond Street. And that couple are creating a mastermind. So without the mastermind of Churchill and Roosevelt, who knows? The couple behind may not have had the freedom to be their mastermind. So also think about, it's not just about you. Whatever your behavior is and how you're cultivating that, it has a knock-on effect to other people. So we want to make sure that we're giving out a rich knock-on effect, not a poor knock-on effect. And now we have sex transmutation, the most powerful. This is the principle that's even had the human race keeping going, because people will die for this. It's so powerful and energetic. And the whole point is to recognize that as human beings, in fact, probably all animals, actually, we have this incredible sexual drive that if you transmute that onto the area of your life that you have desire for, then you can create incredible things. But the reason why, again, that it comes this far into the principles, into the ingredients of this life, is that if you again go straight from your desire and then tap immediately into your sexual energy, you can get yourself into an awful lot of trouble. So the point is that you work through these principles and then you recognize you have this energy within you. And it's the energy that creates geniuses and poets and artists. And, it's an amazing drive, and everybody has that. And it's the one that will get you to take action. And that's what this is all about. It's about the taking action, and taking action with passion and purpose. So now I hope you've again been jotting down your thoughts about this, the comparison between the energy of the sea and the human spirit. The sea is relentless, and so is the human spirit. But we've got to feed it and drive it and cultivate it. Okay, so again, that's just putting your ideas around there. So those are today's principles. I'm going to open up in a minute for questions and answers, and because I know there's lots and lots of things to talk about, and how these principles are helping you with your Cash FX business and cultivating your life. We are talking goals, and we spoke last week about, if you start to write down your goals, in next week, we will have all these principles finished, and you will have learned all of them. You'll have seen all of the images. And that's the week to really start honing in on your goals. So then you'll send your goals into Brian, and we will let you know how to do that soon. And the first 100 people will all receive a pack of these cards so that you can have them in your pocket, so you can take them everywhere. You can see them on a very regular basis. And again, if you've got my book, you can get access to seeing these images whenever you want to see them. So that's what's going to happen next week. Oh. And then on the reverse of this just popped up, that's random, but on the reverse of the goal card, you'll get to write down your steps of your goals. So when you're sending it into Brian will go over the goals and how he wants them to be. But then what you can do is trim them down a little so that you can write them on the back of this card and then carry this everywhere with you. Next week, we're going into the higher level of thinking. This is the icing on the cake. This is the part of the thought level most people do not go anywhere near. They don't understand it. It's confusing. But next week, I'm going to do my best to bring clarity to you in this short period of time that I have. So we're going to be talking about the subconscious mind. Boy, that's powerful. And then the brain principle, how we connect with other people. And then ultimately the sixth sense that takes you to that higher state. So that's me. I'm Janet Jones. I am the Happiness Millionaire. And if you again want to connect, then head over to happinessmillionaire.com and ping me an email. If you send an email to info@happinessmillionaire.com, then I always love to hear from you. I do hear from a few people, and it's incredibly inspiring. And yeah, it's wonderful. So I'm going to open up now to Q&A. If anybody's got any questions. I have to stop sharing my screen. Stop sharing.
Fantastic stuff, Janet. Absolutely. Brilliant. And it's all in keeping with the theme here that, you know, this is not just about business. This is about life. And the better quality of life we have, the better everything is, whether it's your business, your relationships, whatever. So Cash FX is the vehicle that we've chosen to help people with. But it will only grow as big as we can grow. And this is really, really good stuff. So thank you again. Anyone with any questions, please unmute your mic and feel free.
Fire away. You're all still busy writing. No questions today? Did I explain that perfectly clearly?
Should you show hands up?
Hi, Roy.
Hi, Janet. Somebody have put the hands up. If you can unmute and talk to us.
Here we go. Is that Sudeep?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm eating.
I can't see how they've...
If you have a question, unmute, please.
They're not unmuting on that one.
Hello, sorry, it's
hi.
Marvel. Hi, sorry, it's Marvel here. I just missed the I think you put up a link about being able to send the goals to you. I think I just missed that. Is it possible to have it in the chat?
Yeah, well, we haven't created that link yet. Brian and I are going to work on that. You'll find out more about that next week. So if you tune in again next week, you'll find out how to send your goals in. Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right, Marvel. Thank you.
Thanks.
Let's go.
Anyone else? No, we're all good?
Sorry, Jen.
Yes. Sorry, I can't see who's
So
there's like so many people here.
Yeah, my name is Nicholas.
Oh, hi, Nicholas. I can see you
okay.
now.
Yeah, quick one. I was hearing this sex transmutation for the first time today. Could you just say a bit about it? What did you say? Is it a sexual drive that transmits something or something like that?
So sex transmutation, it's about, first of all, acknowledging that we have this sexual energy. You know, quite often it's like, oh, sex, it's a bad subject. Well, it's not really just the action of sex that we're talking about sexual energy, the passion. When you feel passion and purpose, it actually comes from your sexual energy. And it's when we, like at the beginning, when I had everyone standing up and standing tall, and you are then feeding that energy. And it's that gets you then to take action, to take positive, passionate action, and gives you the energy to help other people, to, you know, we all want to know that when the end of our life comes, that we've been here for a reason. It's this energy that will have you take those actions, even when the world is going, oh no, you know, it's that energy that kind of says, yes, you know, let's do this. So it's your enthusiasm and your passion is what your sexual energy is. And the idea is that you are transmuting it onto your desire. You're not just using this energy to just throw willy-nilly around, because that life can get very complicated and messy if you do that. We are using it to transmute this energy onto our desire and purpose in life. And that's when you get the best out of that. I hope that gave you more information.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Just one more thing though about sex transmutation is, bear in mind that this was written back in the 1930s. Napoleon Hill was incredibly brave to start bringing this into the conversation. And it's amazing. I know many Napoleon Hill instructors, and they duck and dive the subject of sex transmutation because they don't quite get it themselves. And it somehow feels wrong to talk about it. And I'm like, no, it's not, because it's your energy. And that is the thing that's going to get you taking your actions. So it's good to know it, because if we don't know it, then we scatter it all over the place and then we make a mess. So direct it into the thing that you want to create your purpose around.
Very good, Janet. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Hi, Brian. Hi, Janet. Hi, Roy.
Hi.
Hello, Derek.
My question: in addition to your goal cards, which are like the driving force, we put up on our goal board or our image board pictures of the things that we're trying to, CFX, funding, and then whatever else we want to, put up, an extension, I don't know, an upgraded car, an upgraded motorbike, an upgraded whatever, a holiday. We put all those up as well, and use that energy of the sea and the transmutation energy to kind of focus on everything, right?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And, your vision board, and vision boards are brilliant. I like to split mine up into areas, and quite often I split them up into the rich. So I have a vision board for my relationships, a vision board, well, all on the same board, but a visions for my relationships, visions for my income. The income tends to be like, what kind of holidays I want, or, it's more, income coming in that is going to pay for stuff. So I suppose that's where I see that. But you might have a number there. Again, just feed in the brain, let it see these images. And then your confidence, what do you actually want your sense of self to feel like in your life experience? We're here for about that amount of time. So what do you want your self-confidence to feel like? And I think that's probably one of the most important things. And when you've got that then links on to, well, what do I want the health side of my life to look like? All these are the 4 pillars of life, and they all feed one another. When we're unhealthy, we're pretty miserable. And if we're miserable, we don't have great relationships. We're not earning great amount of money. So the rich all works together. So I would say do a mood board and split it into those 4 categories. And then you're going to have a fantastic life. Anyone else?
Great
Thanks
stuff.
for that, Janet. That's great.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you. Thanks for the question.
Hi, Janet. It's Paul again. Sorry.
Hi, Paul.
Hi. Yeah. I wanted to give other people a chance first, like I said in my email, but
Yes.
I'm really loving it. I'm still on the first 3 principles, because I've found myself sort of going back, recapping to try and get it into my head.
Good.
But little goals that I mentioned to you that I'm sort of doing. It really transformed my mind. Thinking, wow, I've done it.
Great.
I'm still making small steps, but I really believe in it, and I think if you believe in something, it gives you the energy, and you can do it. So that's
Yeah, and I love the fact that you're saying the small steps. And I love the video that we watched earlier, but one thing that I slightly disagree with is the massive action. When we take this massive action, we really risk big falls. The idea is, and again, if you go back to the very first image of desire, the rock climbing image, then, sorry.
I'll read the blanket when it's time to look for them, okay?
Somebody's telling, someone's telling their kid off there. So where was, so the desire image being the very first one, it is about taking those small steps up there. You will get to where you want to go by taking the small steps, and the small steps will help you to grow each time. And as you grow, you can't then shrink back because you've grown. So then you grow to the next stage and the next. Whereas with massive action, imagine you're down here, you haven't gathered all the knowledge that you need, your self-belief, you still might be a little bit intimidated about things, but then you take this massive action, you would be petrified. Whereas if you follow these principles and you do, and you work them every day.
Sorry, Janet, I've had to mute everybody there. You're muted again. Some people not muting their mics. Okay.
Yeah. Right, I've unmuted. So yeah, so it's about taking these small steps so that you can grow and develop and stay strong. And that's where the confidence bit comes in. It's so that you stay that way. Whereas, like I say, massive action, I think it can scare you to death. It can come for some people, go bang, you're in. But I always believe that success is where preparation meets opportunity. If you're unprepared and you've got an opportunity, they just miss. So yeah, so keep growing those small steps. And so I love to see the changes. And thanks again, Paul, for sharing your progress and your stories.
To share what I did, it was very simple. I mean, a lot of people on this, obviously, Cash Effects have done sharing the screens and everything. And I'm only fairly new to Zoom. I mean, 12 months ago, I didn't have a clue. But I actually practiced with my wife, who was downstairs, and also friends. I've called people on Zoom and shared my screen. And people who are further forward, that might not seem very much, but to me, it was fabulous.
It's great. Yeah.
I played the success from home videos to them, and it worked. That was triggering my head, so it's fabulous.
Yeah. So now your next one, you can have hundreds of people on your call, and you're fine. There you go. You've grown.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Paul. Thank you.
I have created the group. Hi, Janet. I have created the group for Millionaires Mindset Telegram group. I have actually put the link on the chat. So if you guys everyone can use that link and join our group. And then we could have chats, and we can put all the videos there as well. So we could actually build a community of people who are following this program. Thanks.
Yeah, that would be great, Roy. Thank you. Super. Well, if anyone's got any questions that you want to send to me privately, or something that, triggers in your mind as you're either reading the book or after today's session, then do just ping me an email at info@happinessmillionaire.com and I'll get back to you. Okay.
Great. Janet, thank you very much. Everyone, another great week starting off, and this is Matrix Week. So let's get the let's get the checks rolling. Don't forget the calls, the training, one-to-ones we're available for. And remembering the stuff that John covered yesterday, we're only looking for people that are looking, and you're only looking for 3 people. That's not a lot. There's 6.5, 7 billion people on the planet, so we can all find 3 if we want them. But you can't find them on your own. Use us to help you do that. But it all requires action. So that's the key.
Yeah. So it's action week. And just before we go, Brian, shall we next week we're going to be talking about how people can send their goals and things in order to get one of these pocketbooks. So we'll be giving more information out about that next week. So look forward to seeing you all then.
Thank you. Have a good week. Have a great Sunday, and goodbye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.